Rainbows and Royalty by Triniary. Chapter 14. Planning. The next 5 minutes were kind of a blur. As soon as Nightmare Moon and her new entourage had vanished, ponies burst through the doors and windows of Town Hall, eager to flee to the largely imaginary safety of their homes. Rainbow Dash had propped herself against the wall, so she could be in a relatively upright position. She had not her hocks and Nightmare Moon tossing her around, but it wasn't the physical pain that made it hard for her to stand. While every pony else beat a hasty retreat, Twilight had set her down in the last spot where she had seen her brother, and was having herself a good cry. Joining her was Dinky, who had just lost her mother. The two held each other, crying and sharing their pain. Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie had their hooves wrapped up around them in a great big comforting embrace. "Rainbow Dice, how you holding up?" She looked up to see Applejack and Rarity staring down at her. Rainbow sighed and looked away from the orange farm pony. "That bad, huh?" She sat down next to Dash. Rarity scratched her face at the dirty floor, and settled for standing next to Rainbow Dash on her other side. Just go," Rainbow Dash exhaled. "I happen, Rainbow." AJ placed her hoof on Dash's shoulder. "Mom filling us in?"
"Darling, why didn't you tell us?"
Rarity pouted ever so slightly.
"Personal student of Princess Celestia? Oh, you simply must tell me everything."
Seeing Applejack's expression consciously.
Perhaps another time, then."
"Why didn't you tell us, though, Rainbow?" The cow pony nudged her gently. "Some sort of super special mission for the princess?" Dash shook her head. "Well, then, what?" Rainbow swallowed. I just wanted to get away for a bit, that's all." "That's all?" The three mares turned to see a furious, teary-eyed Twilight Sparkle glaring at them. You ran away right before this Nightmare Moon was going to come back! If it weren't for you, Shining Armor would have been here! It's your fault he's gone! She hiccuped as she burst into a fresh wave of tears as Pinkie and Fluttershy held her. "I didn't know!" Rainbow Dash protested, feeling the gaze of every pony's eyes on her. "No pony said anything about this! Celestia didn't say a word! You believe me, don't you?" She looked up at Applejack, silently pleading for her to understand. Her face fell when she saw Applejack's face. I don't really know," AJ admitted. "It does seem a mite peculiar that the princess wouldn't have told you something. I don't know. I mean, I don't like it when ponies lie to me. Especially ones when I thought were my friends." Rainbow winced. That hurt. "I am your friend! Then why didn't you tell us about being the princess students? How could you not know about this here nightmare situation?" Applejack demanded. "We all have family here in Ponyville who are in danger now." Rainbow shot to her hose, wings spread in a fight or flight response. "Because every pony expects this! They expect me to all have the answers, to know what Celestia would do, to be smart enough, wise enough, and beautiful enough to be around her, and I'm not, okay? Okay? I'm not." She hung her head. Rarity felt sorry for her.
"Darling,
"She never said a thing," Rainbow mumbled, not looking up. "She only told me a few moments before she left." Dash swallowed. "All this time, she never said a word. I swear, I didn't know a thing until like 5 minutes before Nightmare Moon showed up. You have to believe me." She stood up, looking at them one by one, imploring them to believe her. Applejack regarded her carefully, green eyes looking into Rainbow's teary magenta rose-colored ones. She sighed, closing her eyes. "I'll believe you." Her voice was gentle. Dash sunk to the ground, relieved. Pinkie Pie came over to give her a hug.
It's okay, Dashie. We know this isn't your fault. It's that dumb beat, but the student who caused all this, not Rainbow Dash. You're super duper awesome and totally fun."
She paused.
"Like, Rainbow Dash is dashing! That's it!
She started to bob her head up and down. She started to sing,
She's dashing and daring, courageous and caring, faithful and friendly with stories to share. All through the forest she sings out in chorus, lying along as her song fills the air. Rainbow Dash, flying here and there and everywhere. Hi, Pinky's right.
Firefly piped up before shrinking down again.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I've known Rainbow Dash for a long time. She never leaves anybody who need her. I know she lets Cantor a lot. It's because she didn't know about her,
she whispered, too scared to even name Nightmare Moon. I must agree, Verity nodded. While perhaps not the most unrefined of ponies, I doubt that she would be so uncouth. AJ agreed, sighed softly. I'm sorry. I guess I'm just afraid for my family. We all are. I suppose we forgot that you lost ponies you care about too, didn't you? A nod. Shining armor. Ditsy Do. Silver Lightning. Steel Wing. Rainbow named the two Pegasus cards. Celestia. She hung her head. They were my only friends. The only ponies in Canterlot who cared about me. They bailed my sorry flake out of trouble so many times. Even when they were furious with me. It Ditsy. She was like my big sister. Twilight bit her lip before throwing herself at Rainbow Dash. The air ponies let a sharp cry of shock. It started to move to pull her off, until they saw Twilight sobbing as she hugged Rainbow Dash. I'm so sorry! When I saw Shining Armor just... Her whole body stirred. I'm so sorry. It's okay. Rainbow arrogantly patted her back. I know. Twilight pulled back so she could look at Rainbow in the face. I'm sure the princess left you some sort of contingency plan, right? She looked at her imploringly. I mean, surely the princess said something. She wouldn't just keep a thing like a return of a beast like Nightmare Moon a secret, would she? I don't know. Maybe she told you some kind of code for her or a riddle for you to solve. Some point for you to meet for more information? I mean, she would have had to leave you something. A plan, a warning, anything! Twilight protested, her need for some sort of hope pushing her to the point of being frantic. Come on, Rainbow, think!
I'm sure she's doing her best.
Firefly offered. Okay! The Pegasus exploded. Why are you all trying to sugarcoat it like one of Pinkie Pie's cupcakes? I am dumb, okay? D-U-M-B. Dumb as a post. You know it, I know it, Nightmare Moon knows it. Hey, Celestia knew it. That's why she didn't bother to tell me anything. She knew I'd just messed it up. Think I'm happy about it? Rainbow choked as she fought back tears, her voice cracking, her wings twitching in hesitation. Circle Cleave. Applejack hugged her tightly. So, Kai, none of us like that, so you don't go and believe it neither. Rainbow Dash fiercely hugged the farm pony back, the others quickly joining in. Her pride would normally have protested fiercely at all this hugging and crying, but her pride had already been stepped on so much tonight that just now would be too close to the barn doors after the horses had already left. After a moment, she felt a new presence on her left hind leg. Looking down, she saw little Diggy rubbing her head against Dash's leg, still whimpering slightly. Oh, Dinks. Rainbow gently straightened herself up, giving the others an indication she wanted them to let go. As soon as they did, she scooped up the little filly and held her close. Don't you worry. I'll go get your mom back. Diggy sniffled. I'll bring her back. She looked over at Twilight. I'm going to bring them all back. Cross my heart and hold the fly, stick a muffin in my eye. The little filly let out a sigh of relief and practically collapsed against Rainbow Dash's chest. She knew things were going to be okay now. Rainbow Dash had promised her, and grown-ups don't break their promises, right? Dinky yawned and soon drifted off to sleep, exhausted.
Poor dear.
Rarity gently lifted her up with her magic, settling her down onto her back. I meant every word, Rainbow swore. She flapped her wings in hovering midair. I'm going to fight Nightmare Moon, and when I do, I'm going to play all four hosts of mine right up her! Applejack bit down her tail and jerked her head down. Whoa there! She gently tugged Dash back to the ground. Rainbow Dash looked at the Earth Pony, who currently had her tail in her mouth. Ugh! This is going to become a thing, isn't it? 'Cause I really don't like pony drool on my tail. Rolling her eyes, Applejack spat out the offending appendage. Yeah, like I really like the taste of your behind the mom mouth. Listen, Sugar Cube, You can't go rearing off on your own. Huh, you don't even know where the farmer went. So? The Rainbow Mare blustered, frowning to cover up the fact that those little details completely slipped her mind. So? Applejack spelled it out. Earth's like is, you gotta tell us everything you know. Everything the princess told you. Rainbow rolled her eyes. Ugh, fine, but I'm not repeating myself, so... Wait, Twilight protested. I'll be right back. Don't start! She galloped off into one of the side rooms. Everybody just looked at each other as if they would have an answer. As one, they shrugged. Twilight soon re-emerged with an inkwell, a quill, and several scrolls of paper held in her magical grip. Sorry, I just need to write this down. It might be useful later. Ooh, I got an idea. Maybe Celestia had a code with a secret letter that I could actually read, and I could tell you guys all about the codes. What? It worked for a book of friendship. Egghead. Rainbow Dash silently confirmed. Alright, so here it goes. She told him everything Celestia had said after their talk. About the legend of Nightmare Moon. Her banishment. Celestia's assistant and her reason for it. Everything Rainbow Dash can remember. Once she finished, she waited for Twilight to finish scribbling everything. When that was completed, she looked around. So, now what? The studious unicorn bit her lip as she reviewed her own writing. She even looked back at the blank backside of the parchment, as if checked to make sure she hadn't written something extra she'd forgotten about. I don't know. I thought for sure that there would have been something that could have told us how Nightmare Moon was stopped in the first place. But what the princess said was short, to the point, and utterly useless. Rainbow Dash checked off. And totally consistent with what I had come to expect for Celestia. Rarity looked at her. You could show a little more respect, darling. Dash smirked. If Celestia were here, she'd be the first to agree with me. Her smile faded quickly. If she were here, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. She punched the wall in frustration. This stinks! Well, I suppose we could go to the town library and look up any information on the legends of Nightmare Moon and find out just how she banished ourselves, Twilight suggested. A library? Rainbow Dash didn't hide her incredulousness. That's your big idea? Oh yeah, sure. I bet there's a book in the reference sequence section. How to banish evil demons of the night for dummies. Now it's 60 new pages of glossy pictures. Twilight ducked her head down, looked away flushing. No need to bite the poor girl's head off, Applejack retorted sternly. It's not like any of those better ideas.
Ooh, I have an idea.
Pinky waved her hoof high in the air and wiggled it, like a fallen class who really wanted to be called on. Any better ideas that don't involve parties? Applejack amended. Pinky frowned and lowered her hoof. Rainbow Dash crossed her hooves and sat down on ugly salt. Great! The whole world is falling into ruin, and we're going to the library! Swell! Even at the end of the world, I can't get away from studying! Firefly gave her a side nuzzle.
Oh, you won't be so bad, Rainbow Dash. With the 6 of us, I'm sure it'll go faster. And it's certainly better than having to talk to ponies,
she shivered.
Also, if any pony would even know anything about Nightmare Moon beyond the Nightmare Night stories.
Rarity agreed briefly. Dizzy paused.
Well,
enough, Rarity. Applejack saw her look. Twilight was confused.
What did?
With her shaking her head, Applejack stopped Twilight mid-sentence. So he didn't mind anything by it. There ain't no pony in Ponyville who knows anything about Nightmare Moon, and that's all there is to it. Rainbow Dash stood and looked Applejack in the eye. Is that so, huh? That's what I'm saying, the farm boy responded. Rarity too. Her eyes slowly twisted side to side, not able to fully meet Rainbow Dash's gaze. A light went off in Rainbow's head. After showing Pinky her candle away, she turned to Applejack. You didn't say the same thing. You said in Ponyville. That's not what Rarity said. She narrowed her eyes. Is there some pony around here, not necessarily in Ponyville, who might know something? Just leave it, Dias, Applejack warned. You don't want her help. Her who? Twilight asked. Firefly eat and hid behind Rarity. What are you talking about? Who are you talking about?
Sir.
The Firefly sneezed not to get her. Don't even say that name! Applejack said in a whispered hiss, as if afraid to be overheard. Surprisingly for Rainbow Dash and Twilight, the usually calm and confident Applejack looked pale. Her forehead beaded with sweat. She was scared. No, petrified. Will someone just tell me what you're talking about? Rainbow raised her voice, almost disturbing the sleepy Dinky Doo.
Sakura! Piggy worried out. She's an evil enchantress who lives out in Everfree Forest. She's mysterious,
Fireside whispered. Not twice so creepy, Applejack stared.
and sinister,
Eddie agreed.
and spooky.
Piggy drew out the word to maximize his effect. Rainbow Dash and Twilight looked to each other, as the detective heard right. Okay, why? Why look? Applejack asked sourly, unhappy to be even broaching the subject. Dash sighed. Why is she so mysterious, creepy, and sinister, and blah blah blah?
Nuh-uh, not blah blah blah. I said, and spooky.
Piggy corrected. Applejack and Rainbow Dash ignored her. Well, the Everfree Forest does like natural. It's not like the rest of Equestria. The plants grow. Fireside nodded.
Animals care for themselves.
Piggy Pie nodded.
And the clouds move all on their own.
They all said together. Rainbow's wings twisted a little at the idea of wild weather that operated without ponies, but was otherwise unimpressed. Applejack said, to live in a place like that, like natural. Once a month, she comes to the town and just creeps around. Ugh, she started. Terrifying! Rainbow deadpan. Anyway, as horrifying as all this sounds, and she is an enchanter or whatever.
Enchantress! Evil enchantress!
Piggy tossed in. That she might know some magical what's-it-called to help stop Nightmare Moon. The Pegasus finished, rolling her eyes at Pinkie Pie. AJ snoring. I'll shamelessly ain't in league with her. Yeah, but... Oh, come on, guys. When's the last time Sakura gets to be in league with one of the super powerful alicorns? I'm sorry. That gag was coming, and you knew it was. You can't stop me! But... Twilight slowly offered up. You haven't offered any evidence that she is... or that she's evil at all. Right! Rainbow Dash nodded. Look, why don't you all head over to the library and look up whatever you can find? I'll go to the Sakura and see what she has to say. Then I'll come back. You can tell me what you found, and then I'll go stop Nightmare Moon. Hold up, Circle Cube. You'll stop Nightmare Moon? Applejack quirked an eyebrow at her. All on your lonesome, huh? I have to, Rainbow said simply. Celestia said it was up to me. And no offense, but you guys will just slow me down. But there's no way you can do it all on your own, Twilight argued, as Applejack sputtered in indignation.
We should totally stay together, Pinky agreed. That way you'll be like a tiny party wherever we go.
Fireside looked up.
Please, Rainbow Dash, you'll get hurt if you go by yourself.
Better to see only you get hurt, the Pegasus replied. I'll see you guys when I get back for Sakura's. Keep thinking safe. You guys do the same. Applejack suitably recovered enough to stamp her hoof. Now wait just a doggone blasted minute here, you arrogant pond-hated! Well, a half-wave, half-salute. Rainbow Dash flew out the window and into the night sky, leaving her companions behind. As unnatural as it was, at least the night air was cool and crisp. Having spent the rest of the night talking, seeing her friends vanish or getting tossed around, the chance to fly made for a welcome return to normalcy. Her wings stretched out to catch the breeze as her mane flew back. She breathed softly before pouring on speed. Soon a rainbow trail broke out to calm the darkness of the night. The ponies that dared to look through their shut windows and curtains felt a twinge of hope upon seeing a bright rainbow glowing all the more intensely for being at night. But that wasn't the only attention Rainbow Dash was receiving. From behind, 3 Pegasi took to the air, their eyes full of menace. Dark bat-like wings flashed silently as Shadowbolt looked at Shadowbolt. Their leader had been one dizzy-do, looked at her companions.
Shadowbolt, align in advance.
Advance and attack, said the second. Attack and destroy, said the third. As one, the Shadowbolts cried out, Destroy or rejoice! They took off after Rainbow Dash as she entered the Everfree Forest, unaware of what awaited ahead of her or behind. Chapter 15, Everfree Rumble. It wasn't long before Rainbow Dash realized the tiniest of holes in her otherwise brilliantly thought-out plan. She had no idea where the considerably vast expanses of the Everfree Forest that Sakura lived. Brilliant, Daisy. She considered going back to ask for directions, but she just couldn't bring herself to. Not after her dramatic exit and her poignant reminder she had to stop Nightmare Moon herself. After a moment of medicinal thought, she realized that given how scared every pony was of her, they probably wouldn't know where Sakura lived anyway. Probably someplace relatively close to Ponyville. Guess you could just stroll in, Dash figured. Unfortunately, that wasn't her only problem. She groaned as she did a flyby over the edge of the forest. The trees were too dense to spot anything from the air. At least, she had to fly below the tree top level. At night, no less. This is going to reduce me to a crow, Rainbow grumbled internally. She veered off and headed back to Ponyville in order to enter the forest from the edge and work her way inward. Rainbow Dash was just about to swing by to enter the forest when 3 fast-moving gray blurs caught her attention. She narrowed her eyes. They didn't slow down or alter their course the closer they got to her. That never boded well. It wasn't until they got close that she could see the purple and black of the uniforms to know for sure they were hostile. Shadowbolts. At the last moment, Rainbow dove right in between them. The wind of their passing by nearly knocked her head over hose. She straightened herself out and whirled, waving her hose at him.
Dizzy! Guys! Stop! It's me! Rainbow Dash!
There was no answer. The Shadowbolts veered around for another pass. Growling, Rainbow Dash flapped once and put herself on an air-set course. The Shadowbolts neither slowed nor changed course.
Oh, you want to play chicken, huh? Bring it!
Rainbow smirked as she streamlined herself, straightening her body and letting her forelegs stretch out in front of her, keeping in line with her body. She did the same with her hind legs. The Shadowbolts weren't slowing either.
Do they really think I'm gonna pull away and let them jump me when I do?
She's snoring. Amateurs. They were about 100 feet away. A gleam of moonlight reflected off their goggles, giving them a fierce image. But there was something else. There! A reflection off the outer part of their new bat-like wings. The second figure it was called. Rainbow felt her eyes widen when she realized what they were.
Wing blades!
Dangerous weapons that had been illegal for centuries, if not longer. Wing blades were fitted over the ends of pony wings for aerial combat. For the deadly sheen of the Shadowbolt's blades, those could cut into ribbons if she wasn't careful. Death snoring. Well, if they thought they were going to intimidate her with an overgrown scissor, they had another thing coming. She poured on speed, going on even faster, as she aimed to collide with the Shadowbolt formation head-on. 50 feet. She could see the widening eyes of the Shadowbolts as they realized she wasn't going to pull up. At the speed at which she was going, as she collided, she managed to cripple 1 or 2 of them, and at these heights. 25 feet. Rainbow Dash was now close enough to see the sudden tension in their wings, even as they flew on. Both sides coming close to each other. 10 feet. The lead Shadowbolt and Rainbow Dash met each other's gaze. Neither of them had an inch to give within them. They weren't going to be the one to pull away first. 5 feet. 4, 3, 2, 1! At the last possible moment, the Shadowbolts started to widen their formation as they began to veer away. Instead of doing the same, Rainbow Dash plowed through without breaking stride or decreasing speed. She nimbly tucked and darted between the Shadowbolts, even managing to fly her way between 2 parallel outstretched wings, augmented with wing blades, between the former Dizzy Dew and the leftward high Shadowbolt. Is he gone a half a foot higher or lower? She would have flown right into their waiting blades. As the dumbfounded Shadowbolts turned to look at their escaping quarry, they were suddenly hit by Rainbow's wake, knocking them for a loop. They fled frantically, trying to right themselves. Meanwhile, Rainbow had tucked her own wings inwards and was going in for a power dive, straight below the tree line and into the Everfree. Rainbow Dash laughed.
Woohoo! Oh yeah!
She performed a little midnight spin through the trees out of sheer pleasure.
Mess with the best, and you go down like the rest!
The adrenaline was pumping through her veins. The wind was in her face, and if she wasn't careful, she could go careening into a tree at any moment. Danger was all around her, and the stakes were high. She was born for moments like these. Dash jerked and dove around trees and branches. Sometimes she would pass so close that the moisture on the leaves would splatter gently across her cheek. Given the density of the forest, Rainbow had to alter her path and make innumerable tiny course corrections while still keeping an eye out for any place that might be home to the reclusive Sakura and watching out for any unexpected guests, Shadowbolts or otherwise. As much as she hated herself for doing so, she had to slow down slightly. Not because navigating through the trees was difficult, she would be the first to tell any pony who asked, but because she had no idea that Sakura lived in a house, a cave, a bungalow, or what. Slowing down might be the most hated word she knew, but since finding Sakura was the whole purpose of this trip, that had to take priority. Rainbow darted up and down, past trees and through vines. Patience was never her strong suit, so long as it was before she was frustrated and annoyed.
This is like looking for a dry cloud in a thunderstorm!
She started to zip from place to place, but found nothing that resembled a pony dwelling or any trace of one. After spending a moment of seething the futility of it all, she came up with a plan that was so brilliant and wondered it did physically light up the woods.
Where are you?
Rainbow Dash shouted at the top of her lungs. No answer.
Shoot!
Groaning, she started flying again through the darkness and denseness that was the Evergreen Forest. It wasn't 5 minutes before she heard a whooshing, rustling noise in the forest. Looking around, she saw the leaves and tree tops quiver and shake for a moment, then fall still. From behind came the beating of wings. Rainbow turned around just in time to see 3 familiar pains in her hindquarters.
Oh, come on! Can't you take a hint?
She flapped, pouring on speed as the shadow bolts approached. More annoyed than worried, she banked and zoomed as she saw them through the trees. Changing a look behind her, she saw they were actually gaining on her. Her eyes widened.
What? How can they be?
She got her answer as she witnessed the wing blades slicing through the branches and vines like they were nothing. Impossibly, they didn't even slow down as they cut through them. The bits of woods and leaves just deflected off their flight suit. Some sort of magic, Rainbow Dash figured.
Cheats!
She spat at them before turning to focus on ducking and weaving through the trees. But these maneuvers, cord changes, took a few seconds off her lead time every time she performed them, and the shadow bolts continued to gain. Rainbow Dash realized she couldn't use her top speeds trapped in the forest. As she continued on like this, they eventually overtake her.
Forget this!
Tilting upwards, Rainbow shot through the forest canopy, raining broken bits of branches down after her. Clear open skies, her best terrain.
That's more like it!
She saw a quick look behind her, and, sure enough, the shadow bolts emerged from the forest after her.
Come on, you Wonderbolt wannabes! Let's see what you got!
Shooting off ahead, she was content on continuing baiting them.
If you want me, you gotta earn me!
Flying at a swift pace, but nowhere near her top speeds, she took a quick look back. What she saw made her grin smugly. The pursuing Wonderbolt's faces twisted into furious, frustrated snarls as they furiously poured all into chasing her, while Trace and Tartarus were succeeding unaided. But something made Rainbow Dash frown. There were only 2 of them chasing her. What happened to the third? Still,
nice outfits, Lamos!
What, did your mommy stress you? The cocky Pegasus raised them.
I thought you were trying to catch me! Come on! Does he want this?
She wagged her backside at him, smacking her rump tantally. Enraged, the 2 shadow bolts flapped their wings harder, intent on catching and making the Cyan Pegasus pay. Satisfied, Rainbow Dash continued flying, but decreasing her speed bit by bit. Too eager at the prospect of catching their quarry, the shadow bolts didn't ask how they were suddenly able to catch up with her. Suddenly, Rainbow Dash started to count down from 10. The shadow bolts reached out with their hooves, so close they could almost taste it. They gave it every last bit of energy they had to close the gap. When her countdown reached 0, Rainbow Dash stopped and let herself fall backwards in midair. Throwing her forelegs out wide, she successfully caught the 2 surprised shadow bolts in the throat, effectively clotheslining them. With a startled gurk, the 2 stunned ponies fell back to the ground to the forest below, accompanied by the sound of snapping branches and 2 loud thuds as they hit the ground. Rainbow Dash smiled, before remembering that these ponies were still her friends, even if under Nightmare Moon's control.
Sorry, guys!
She called out.
I'll make this up to you later!
Turning around, she found herself face to face with the 3rd shadow bolt. Oh. Her face had made a sudden encounter with the shadow bolt's hoof. Now as Rainbow Dash had found herself craning into the evergreen forest. Whistling and yelping as she screamed and battered on her way down, Rainbow Dash only had a moment to close her eyes before the ground reached out to meet her, while ruining just how frequently this seemed to be happening tonight.
Yes. Hello, Pain. How have you been?
Rainbow groaned as she lifted herself out of the small crater she found herself in. She coughed, expelling some dust and a leaf that worked her way into her mouth, and rubbed at her eyes. She had only just gotten back on her hose when the shadow bolts dropped out of the sky and landed a few feet in front of her. For the smaller frame and rounded snout, Rainbow realized the shadow bolt was a mare, which meant this one must have been
Dizzy?
She coughed. The shadow bolt, Ditsy, tilted her head.
Come on, Tits. I know you're in there!
She slowly held up a hoof to Rainbow Dash. Relieved and elated, Rainbow grasped it, only to be yanked forward until their snouts were almost touching.
Ditsy's not in at the moment. Care to leave a message?
The sailboat leader sneered in a tone that was almost, but not quite like Dizzy's.
I'll make sure she gets it.
Putting her other hoof to her face, she issued a sharp, short whistle. In less than a minute, the other two sailboats appeared. Rainbow Dash saw to her dismay that aside from a few feathers out of place, and pissed off looking expressions on their faces, there wasn't any sign of injury or damage done to them by her little stunt.
Must have been those lousy flight suits again,
she grunted. The other two took up positions on either side of the lead sailboat. She struggled, but they each grabbed one of her forelegs, forcing her up onto her rear hooves. Her wings were entangled with vines and bits of debris. Rainbow Dash couldn't stretch them out, much less fly. She looked up at the ditzy sailboat as she flexed her own wings, blades attached to them.
Ditzy! Don't do this!
Rainbow struggled freely.
I'm not Ditzy,
she said coldly, pressing her blade against Rainbow's neck as the Cyan Pigs squirmed to get some extra space between her and the razor-sharp blade. Suddenly, there was a sharp whistling sound, followed by exploding puffs of green smoke. Caught by surprise, the sailboat started coughing, giving Rainbow Dash a kick as she kicked the guard on her left in the shins to make him let her go. This freed her up to punch the other one in the gut and break free. The smoke soon cleared when the sailboat started flapping their wings. The leader looked around.
Fan out! Find out what else!
Whatever she was looking for found her first, and it came in the form of the would-be staff, implanted firmly into her belly. The captain clutched herself and collapsed to wheezing. The staff's wielder, a pony garbed in a brown hooded cloak, did not stay long enough for the other two to avenge themselves on her. The underlow of her jerked head at Rainbow Dash, indicating she should follow her. The two quickly fled as the shrouded stranger navigated them expertly through the forest. Where she was being led, Rainbow didn't know. Behind them, the sailboats had rallied and were in full pursuit. Finally, they stopped in a clearing.
Why are we stopping?
Rainbow asked. There was no answer. Her would-be rescuer gently guided her to a tree and sat her down against its trunk. Stay, came the curt response. It was a mare's voice, oddly accented. She made her way to the clearing and the entrance, and twirled her wooden staff around and around. The sailboats emerged almost immediately, looking more annoyed than reason.
We are operating under the authority of the ruler of Equestria.
Not as he spat.
Assaulting her agents is treason,
hissed the second, who Rainbow identified as Steelwing.
Punishable by death,
said the other, silver lining. Leave now or pay the price. The mysterious stranger gave an idle snort, but did not budge.
So be it!
She snarled.
Shadowbolts! Attack!
They rushed the stranger, who made no effort to move until they were right on top of her. Then with lightning speed, the staff lashed out, cracking one of the bolts in the jaw, slamming over the head of the second, and dispatching the leader with a rapid twirl to caught her in the side of her head. When the sailbolts rose almost instantly, the stranger was gone.
Where did...
Look! One of the guards pointed. So he was now precariously perched atop the staff, upside down, and now on the limb of a tree. Rainbow felt her jaw drop.
Help!
The lead sailboat was incensed.
I don't know who you are, and I don't care. No pony opposes Her Majesty's Shadowbolts!
Can you not see the truth in front of your eye? The stranger said calmly, leaping down from the tree. For no pony am I! She tossed back the hood of her cape, revealing a black and white striped face with blue almond-shaped eyes. Her mane was cut into a mohawk of alternating colors, the same as her coat. At her neck, a series of gold rings could be seen. Leave now! Go hit the shower! For this is my place of power! She whined. The Shadowbolts chuckled wickedly. Doesn't matter who you are, the one on the left said. Pony or not, it won't spare you from our wrath, said the one on the right. Much less your ridiculous rhyming, spat the lead sailboat. If you think her rhyming's ridiculous, yours is rhyming. Woo! The stranger's face was impassive, unimpressed. Spare you from our wrath, she mimicked. What a laugh! My rhyming may be passé, but at least I don't sound like a ridiculous cliché. The sailboat started forward, tucking her hoof into the hose of her coat. The stranger drew out a daffodil hoofful of green powder and gently blew it in front of her. Dash didn't see what good it would do since he had goggles on, but the powder started changing. Instead of remaining a cloud of dust or smoke, shapes started to emerge. Dragons, manticores, Ursa Majors, and leading them was the very image of Celestia. Panic, Nightmare Moon's minions came up short, stumbling over themselves before they realized it was mere laziness. Taking advantage of her confusion, Rainbow Dash tossed herself back into the fray, lashing out with her hooves. But when she looked for her companion, she saw that she wasn't fighting. Instead, she was darting back and forth, dragging her weapons down on the ground and integrating in bizarre patterns. She started slowly chanting underneath her breath. Twilight Luffy Center Sutter make down! Twilight Luffy Center Sutter make down! I still do love it when my fics reference classic early millennia series that only I would know. Green light traveled from her staff down to the ground. It filled up the shallow patterned grooves she made like a water spilling down a dry riverbed. Light traveled through the entire clearing, lighting up ancient symbols on the ground. Soon, the green light was everywhere. Wards! A shadowbolt called out in horror and warning, but it was too late. A veritable wave washed over every pony present. Rainbow flinched as the shockwave passed her by, but it left her untouched. The shadowbolts were not as fortunate. The oncoming wave slit them up and propelled them far beyond the clearing. Dash watched with wide-eyed amazement as the shadowbolts were flung into the distance. Whoa. Do not be so quick to cheer. They will be back, I fear. Rainbow looked to her rescuer. Yeah, well, it was still awesome, so, Sakura, I presume. She held out a hoof as she thought back to her lessons with Princess Celestia. Didn't expect you to be a zebra. Not that there's anything wrong with that, she blurred, realizing how that could be taken. I just, didn't expect to see one out in these parts. Dash cleared her throat. So I, greet you into traditional zebra something, or, ba wheat grana wheat nitty bong? Bana wheat grana wheat nitty bong. She answered with a chuckle. Such formality is the mark of being taught. I am Sakura, the one you sought. She took Rainbow's hoof and shook. Coming to find me alone was a decision most rash. Still, I am pleased to meet you, Rainbow Dash. Pegasus nodded. You have no idea how glad I am that I found you. She looked at where the shadowbolts had stood before their unceremonious exit. Just what was that anyway? A protective wall drawn from the sun's light. It protects those tainted by Nightmare's might. But the sun's gone, Rainbow protested. Sakura nodded vaguely. Yes, that is so. But the magic of the sun endures in plants that use it to grow. With great care, this can still be a harness to make my walls most brightest. Rainbow Dash blinked. That last right was a stretch. Sakura faced up. Perhaps instead of a literary critique, you should tell me why you came looking for me, and that's most unique. Huh? Oh yeah! If you know about Nightmare Moon and magic and stuff, I bet you can help me stop her, right? She was taken aback when Sakura tossed her head back and laughed merrily. What's so funny? Ha ha ha! Ah, my dear, the answer is you. The stop Nightmare Moon is something no pony can do. Snoring, Rainbow paused at the ground angrily. Yeah, well, I don't believe it. I'm not about to let it be night forever. Those shadowbolts used to be my friends, and I'm going to save them. And like it or not, you're going to help me. Sakura shook her head enigmatically. You misunderstand. To stop Nightmare Moon is indeed the plan, but to do it alone, that is when my skepticism is shown. Rainbow Dash rolled her eyes. Look, you going to help me or not? I got some friends back in town who are trying to find out more about Nightmare Goon. But it sounds like you know more than they do. So how about you come back and tell us what you know? Or do I have to drag you? How can I refuse? Sakura answered somewhat immediately. When so politely you gave me the option to choose. Coming back with you was always my intent. So come, let us go, so Nightmare Moon's eternal reign we can prevent. Picking up her staff, she tugged it underneath the straps of her saddlebags, and started back to Ponyville. Rainbow Dash, after clinging to Daedrus from her wings, took to the air above her. She frowned when she realized something. Wait a minute. How did he know my name? Sakura? The zebra trudged on in silence. I And that, ladies and gentlemen, is probably the best Sakura appearance in any fanfic of all time.